So in case I haven't met you yet and you haven't met me, I'm Natalie Madison. I'm owner of Artisan Cakes, and my goal is to provide the tools and the confidence and knowledge to build your passion for baking. So today I wanted to show off pumpkin cake pops, and these are going to be pumpkin spice cake pops on top of that. And we're going to use this mold. It's one of my favorites, and it's just a standard pumpkin. And we're going to use little 4-inch lollipop sticks to basically put into the back of that, so you have pumpkin lollipops. And we're going to play with white chocolate, some coloring, some flavoring, different glitters, because that's what we're here for, right? Is the glitter? Yeah. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make our cake pop batter. Have you guys tried doing that before? Cake pops? Yeah? So basically, you just take any cake, and I use the tops off of my cake layers, so after I bake it, it has a little bit of dome, and I always slice that off. So I save that for cake pops. Just put it into the mixer, and I like to use either the paddle or the dough hook. And once you lock it in place, you're just going to turn it on low. And it's a lot of action, and I've done part of that already because it does take a little bit of time. If your cake is really dry, you want to add just a little bit of buttercream to it. You can also add honey to it, which is fantastic. And then I'm going to use pumpkin spice emulsion. We used this in our macarons last night. It's amazing. And I'm going to add a half tablespoon to our mixture. So emulsion is not just for baking, it's great for flavoring after as well. And you know what? I'm going to put another half, just so we get lots of pumpkin spice.
It smells so good.
It does. It smells amazing. You guys want to smell? All right, just pass that down. While that's working hard, we're going to let it keep working, and you'll see it's starting to pull together into a dough. So it starts to form that mass of dough. It does take some time, and you got to be patient, but I want this to be a dry dough, something that we can really mash and press together. In the meantime, I'm going to start heating up our chocolate. These are just white chocolate wafers, confectionery coating. You can use any of the brands available to you. I like Guittard, which is what we carry up in the bulk bins, but we also have Merkins and Klassen here as well. So I'm going to pop this in the microwave in short increments. I will start with 1 minute and then work about every 30 seconds after that. So we see now in the bowl, we definitely have a mass coming together. I'm going to go ahead and stop that and focus my attentions here. Do you know how to color chocolate? Do you know what you can use to color chocolate? So we don't want to use anything with water in it. Water-based gels, water-based coloring cause your chocolate to seize up and turn chalky. So that's not tasty. But we carry oil-based colors, and they generally come in primary colors. So I'll use a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red, and this is called Chameleon chocolate, which is one of my favorite brands of oil-based coloring. But you can choose from any number of oil-based colorings out there. We also have Americolor. I think we have a CK brand as well. So too long in the microwave and this will burn. And I can smell the white chocolate, so I know it's coming together. And you can see right in the middle, we've started melting. I'm going to give that a good stir and then pop it back in the microwave for about, right now we'll do 45 seconds.
Does the color have any taste at all?
It does not. Some people can still taste a little bit of bitterness in the reds, especially in Artisan Accents, which happens to have a very strong pigment content. While that's cooking, I'll take that away. It's amazing.
Getting high over here.
So what's your favorite chocolate? Milk chocolate. I love milk chocolate too. Milk chocolate. All right, back in the microwave. This is probably the slowest part.
At 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds, yeah. And I'm going to go get a little bit of Paramount crystals. Have you heard of those? Paramount crystals are the chocolate's oil base, the confectionery coatings. So it's the hydrogenated oils, the soybean oils, basically what makes up that wafer. And they produce it by itself in bulk, and it doesn't have any taste, it doesn't have any odor, and you can add it to your chocolates to thin it a little bit. Makes it easier to work with in chocolate molds. Oh, look at that. One more round in the microwave and we should be good. There's a lot of residual heat in chocolate, so I would actually rather stir it and let it continue melting itself than to put it into the microwave and then accidentally overheat it. You want to be my helper and stir this for me? All right, just keep stirring. We carry Paramount crystals in bulk. You would never want more than 1 ounce added to 1 pound of chocolate. And in most cases, we add it just by the flake, just like a few flakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is really nice and smooth, so I may not have to add any Paramount at all. And look at that. Almost clump free. There's one little wafer hanging out right there. Nice job. I am not going to put that back in the microwave. Not yet. But I am going to add my color. So, pigments for oil-based colors tend to settle, so you have to shake them really well. You want to help me shake these? Yeah. We all have hand towels too, so if we start finding color in random places, I'm going to blame it on the kids' class, but it was probably an adult class. All right. So a few drops of yellow. And we'll swap out. Put in a few drops of red. Yellow and red make, yeah, orange. Oh, that's pretty. I love it. We should get a close-up of that. That's pretty. Look, ooh, it's like magic. I do like to be cautious about adding too much color, but I think we're going to need more color for the white chocolate. So, white confectionery coating has a lot of titanium dioxide added to it to make it white. So we're going to have to put lots of color into it to combat that. If you add just red to this right now, it's with all the titanium white coloring in it, it would just want to be pink for a while. So we've got a good amount of red. Looks like I need to punch up the yellow. We are going to cover these with glitter, so we don't have to go deep color, but I do like to have a little bit of orange in the background. So if I miss some spots with the glitter, there's some orange. I'm just going to go a little bit further. I just love that first stir. Makes me think of a cool art. So we will have to microwave this in between pops to keep it in the right temperature range. Right now, it's probably about 85 degrees, so it's not hot. It's actually just a little bit warmer than my hands. And this next part is the messy but fun part. We will open up our chocolate mold. We will pour the chocolates into the pumpkin area if you can, and just fill it up. Don't worry about being messy. We want to fill that pumpkin up. And you have to work kind of fast because it will start to cool and harden. Do you see how I've got big old lumps of chocolate in there? So then we're going to take and tap it flat, and then flip it over. And get a lot of that chocolate back out, because we've got to put our cake pop batter in there. And then once most of it is out and you have this hollow, you have to immediately come through with a scraper. Oh, I'm making messes. And scrape it upward. Turn your mold, scrape upward. And then we're going to let this harden a little bit. You think you can do that? All right, I'm going to start over here and we're just going to pass it down. There's that scraper. 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 Yeah. So you fill up the mold completely and then dump and then scrape it clean. And I can give you spoons too if it makes it any easier to get that chocolate into the pumpkins. But you're doing great with the spatula. And we'll scrape that back up. You can remelt it, yeah. I do love these half sheet pans with their cooling grids because you can capture a lot of that. We have these out there too. And they're sized so they'll fit in your oven. Conventional ovens. Nice. Give it some tap down first so we can get the air bubbles out because there are always air bubbles trapped.
There you go, babe.
You want a spoon instead? Yeah. All right. Yeah, get nice and close. And then dump most of it out.
Okay.
Isn't that right? And just kind of wiggle it and lift it up just slightly off. There you go. Then flip and scrape. There you go. Fantastic. All right. Probably the spoon. The spatula's kind of. Oh. Did I mention spastic today? Shake, 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 shake. Yep. Oh, there we go.
Now it's starting to go.
And a little bit out of this one too. There we go. All right, then flip it.
Pretty though.
And then scrape toward and scrape toward.
This way?
Yep. Nice. Nice. And then just turn it around. Yep.
This will be available for eating afterwards.
Only if we decide to share. You know what? We're going to take a little bit more out, okay?
A little bit more out.
Yeah,
that
so we
way.
have room for our cake.
Because this is just the covering on
Mhm.
it. Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
Ooh,
go. Nice.
That's pretty.
You're a pro already.
Mom's gonna be so happy. Daddy will be more happy.
And shake it. Keep going. Sometimes I get up here on the top. It's like when you need a friend. You need a friend. And shake some more. I want to make sure you have plenty of room for batter. You want some help? All right. So I'm just going to shake it out. And the other side.
They're just too gentle, aren't they?
Yeah. All right, now you're good.
Do this, and then over.
This is my favorite method of making cake pops. It works.
Yeah.
It works every time. I'm like, yay, I have beautiful cake pops.
I was just worried it was all gonna go to waste, but no, it's not. It's good.
What's another way to make them?
Roll them, shape them, put the sticks in the middle,
Oh.
and then dip them.
Dip them, and then they flop off.
This is a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think it's easier.
Let the mold do the work.
Yes. See how it's nice and stiff, and that's what we want. Nice and stiff.
Put any of the
Play-Doh.
buttercream or something?
I didn't. Our cake is really, it has a high moisture content, so when I add buttercream, it actually becomes too squishy. Yum, it smells amazing. All right, our next step is to make tiny little balls of cake to stick in here, and it's a tiny amount. So everybody wants to really fill it up, but we have to have room for a chocolate layer on top of it to make the back side of our cake pop. So we are going to take a tiny little piece. It's probably the size of a very tiny grape, like a really small grape. You just roll it up into a little ball, and then we press it down into that cake mold. But you'll see, it's a little bit harder to see on that camera. We'll go over here. See, there's space for chocolate. So we want to make sure we have that space for the sealing chocolate to hold it all together. So I'm going to just bring this around. I'm just going to plop a ball there. And I promise I have washed the hands thoroughly. And go smaller than you think you need.
Less is more.
Less is better, yep. All right, so back, tiny ball, and press down into the chocolate mold.
Push way down?
Yeah, push way down into the chocolate mold. Now we have to rescue the chocolate that's inside of our trays. So we have plenty to do the same thing on the top. So I'm just going to come through and help you scrape the chocolate off the back of your cooling rack. Just like that. All right. There's so much yummy cake. I mean, you guys are just gonna have to eat the rest of it. I made a lot of batter. Like, will you take that cake batter? I'll put these down out of your way.
Well, it's neat because it's hard now, so it's easier to come
Much easier.
harder anyway.
Ooh, that part's still melty. Can you hold this for me for a moment? Thank you. You are an extra kitchen awesome helper.
She is just very good.
I have my mom cook all the time.
Do you?
Look at those little dots.
I know. They're kind of cute.
They look like chocolate chips.
They do a little.
Yeah, they do.
All right, you can place that right back down in there. Oh, nice. Thank you. This is definitely a hands-on activity. All right. And save those. Nice. How's school been going? Good. You doing any fun art classes or anything? No?
Didn't realize how messy I was.
That's a normal mess. All right, you're good. So no waste. Everything gets reused. At least the big chunks. Thanks. All right, so we're popping this right back into the microwave. And the chocolate underneath is still a little bit warm, so I'm going to stick with 30-second increments. That's a giant cake pop ball. So all of your cake pop batter that you've made up, just keep it wrapped up in saran wrap, nice and tight. Keep it in the freezer. You can pull it right back out, thaw it, and then use it. And look how cleanly it comes out of that bowl. We're going to reheat this just until all of the little clumpies disappear again. But the same thing, I don't want to overheat it or it actually gets firmer. The confectionery coating will get harder and harder to stir. All right, the magic. First thing we're going to do is put all of our sticks in place. And make sure it goes as far up into the cake pop as it can go. And I have a little spot here where I got chocolate into where the cake pop is. I'm just going to reach in there and just kind of gently pull that out. So I have room for the cake pop stick. There we go. Just clean that section out a little bit. Are we ready? Ready to see the next step? Yeah. So make sure our sticks are in all the way. And then you are going to take and plop chocolate and fill up that space again. You won't need nearly as much as we did earlier, because we're just trying to fill up the top of the pumpkin. And this time we do have to make sure we really tap well. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing and scrape that chocolate away from the sticks. I would have liked to have gotten my stick in just a little bit further. So you want to definitely clean those really well. I'm probably going to have to rework the sticks. Go in, go in. And then for this, one more final. We have to clean those outside edges. And I hate to say it, but the easiest way is just with your fingers. Good, are we ready? Nice. And your sticks look like they're in there nicely too. All right. All you.
Down far enough?
I think so. We might put a little dab of chocolate on the back of the stick if it's visible, and that'll help glue it in. Yep. Tap it down, make sure it's in there really well. There we go. And now you're ready. Yeah, you don't need very much at all. Just enough to cover up the backside. Nice. All right, tap away. And the stick might get in the way a little bit, so you can use your finger and just come around that outside edge to clean it off. Hands-on activity. We didn't tell you you'd be wearing all the chocolate though. You have some sticks sticking up? I do too. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. I'm going to show you how to glue it. That's all right. When you tap it, it'll spread and fill in all of that space. Thank you. All right, the quick fix. So some of my sticks are exposed. That means my cake pop is going to be a little bit weak, and I could move the stick pretty easily. So I'm just going to take a little bit of chocolate and just kind of pop it right there over the stick. And this one I'm trying to stay inside the pumpkin area. And I'm not heating my chocolate up anymore. So it's a really cool chocolate. And then as I tap it down, it naturally spreads out and fills up the back of my pumpkin. You can also use your craft brush and just gently spread it toward the outside edge. Have to work a little bit fast. Little swirling action too does a great job. Little circles. And then tap it flat. If it bothers you to have these rougher edges on the outside, that's where fingers come in handy. You can just gently bring it out toward the outside of the mold. But overall, I'm pretty excited about mine. And remember, these are the back of the cake pop. Nobody's going to care too much. Do we need to glue some sticks? I'm just going to set this down for you. Once you have glued your stick, we're going to put these into the freezer and let them firm up really well before we try to pull them out. Oh, tight area. Need some glue? All right. Just spoon a little bit, and you only want like a tiny smidge. That way it doesn't mess with that. Actually, it's bigger than a tiny smidge.
Oh, okay.
Just enough to hold those sticks.
I glued my sticks to my mic.
That's all right. It'll pop out.
They'll pop out, okay?
Yeah. I think orange sticks are prettier anyway. There you go. Tap it down really hard. And for yours, we can actually lift those sticks back up. Yeah, and just let them kind of sit there naturally, and they'll glue in. Yeah. I think it'll glue enough though.
You think?
Mm-hmm. We have a little bit of exposed cake batter here. You want to use your finger and just kind of press that over? There you go. I don't want your...
I didn't see that.
Nice.
Tap, tap, tap.
Mm-hmm. And then let's take them to the freezer. All right, so I'm going to go in order.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It is almost the same color. Yeah. just do my fingers.
Yeah, I think your finger's going to be the easiest for this job.
We're gonna clean them up the first time. This is why you don't.
That's all right. And what's cool about this chocolate is if it overflows your mold and you're not crazy about it, you can warm up a paring knife and just kind of trim off the excess. Something else that's really cool is you know those styrofoam trimmers that has a long wire, you plug it in and it heats up? It is perfect for getting off your extra chocolate if it goes outside the mold and starts from up. It is perfect for that. So I found some really pretty glitters. Yeah, so I have a really pretty new copper and a hologram gold. The ones we did for the photos were actually new copper, the really orangey ones. You know how I feel about glitter. I love it. Like it's brand new. Shiny. Super shiny. So that's hologram gold. It's got that little bit of green and brown added to it. And then the other one is the new copper, which is a really pretty orange. To get these to stick to your cake pops, my favorite is piping gel. You can take piping gel, put it on a craft brush, put it on your pumpkin, sprinkle your glitter, and it sticks. And the piping gel dries. So after a couple of hours, it'll dry. But it's sugar-based and it's nice and tasty. It's got a slight flavor of vanilla. It's really good. Do what?
Oh, we need some more sugar.
Right? More sugar on a cake pop. It's mostly clear, which I love. So it doesn't make any color changes. And I think I'm going to get another spoon. So we're going to use just a tiny amount of that.
Oh, okay.
Can you use this on fondant too, to stick glitter on fondant?
You can.
Okay.
I've used this to create the look of water for lake cakes and waterfalls. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and pass this out. Ta-da! If we have chocolate in our craft brush, I need to trade out and give you a different one. Does somebody need a clean craft brush? Here, thank you. Yeah,
We have a little bit,
I think,
not a lot.
yeah, that's actually good. Clean one? Clean one? All right. All right. Done. Now my cake pops have been in the freezer long enough. I should be able to pop them out and show you. Not very long, and a lot of times the mold will tell you when it's done. So I can feel it releasing already.
Oh, okay.
So I am going to pay close attention to these outside edges, and you can run a knife across here. I'm just going to use my finger and just kind of bring my finger around the edge of the pumpkin. And encourage it to not pull all of that extra chocolate off. And then I'm just going to gently bend. I'll show you what's happening on the back side. Oop, oop, see how fast that was? As I gently bend the plastic, it just pops out. And a lot of times this extra stuff on the edges will release too. Trying to be careful. I don't want to break all my pumpkins. See? So a little thumb press right here. And then move those out of the way. A little thumb press. Ta-da! And then I'm going to pick my favorite one to show off. So this is where I was saying a sharp knife right across here will trim that off. Or you can use that amazing little hot needle that you use for styrofoam cutting. Yeah. So the next step for us is going to be to put our piping gel on our pops. And we're just going to brush it, a thin layer. You can even use your finger to do this if you want. And then we're going to sprinkle our glitter on top of this, gently. I might even go put this in a spray. All right, I don't want to dip my brush necessarily into the glitter, but I do, you can smooth it on using your brush, especially if you lose some of those areas that are recessed. My craft brush is picking up a lot of the glitter. But as I run my brush across, it starts to flatten out the glitter. So instead of having all those little particles and pieces that are sticking up and to the side, they kind of lay down and they create like this matte coat of glitter. But it's just as easy to sprinkle the glitter on top. Sprinkle. Can you tell I'm from the South? Sprinkle the glitter. And I think I'm going to go get a pump brush because it's going to be easier to apply the glitter. And then any place where you're missing, you just add a little bit more piping gel there and then a little more glitter. Shake off the excess and you've got super sparkly pops. Yay! Yeah. All right, I think you're probably cold enough to pop yours out. I'll test one back here and see. Oh yeah. You want to come get them? I'll just kind of hand over if that's easier. And the first step is to get piping gel on all of them.
After you get them off.
Yeah, after you get them out. Yeah. So first step is to get it out of the mold. Yeah. How's it going? Yeah. So,
See the cake.
yes, it's because probably when we were pressing the cake in, we pushed so hard and the chocolate wasn't quite set yet. But we can still cover that with piping gel and cover it with glitter.
That's right. Yeah, I can
Have I shown off the glitter sprays yet? Have you seen those? Oh my gosh.
see.
Oh my gosh, everybody wants one. All right, so you just put your dry glitter into this little pump. And you just spritz on. So you get more even coverage and it uses less dust. So this is, there's the new copper.
And now it popped out without me having it.
That happens to me. Sometimes before I'm ready. Yep. Sometimes you press hard and it goes through the chocolate on the back side.
That's not all.
That's all right. Once you put the piping gel on and the glitter, you won't notice. And then there is the hologram gold. You ready to put the piping gel on? All right, use your craft brush. When I am using those dust pump sprays, I save my little containers and then just dump out the glitter or whatever's already in your container and just replace it with a new one if you like. Or you can be like me and buy a container for every color glitter you own. Have you put your piping gel on all of them? Have you put your piping gel on all of them? All right. Because sadly, they don't stick without that piping gel.
Will it stay kind of gooey like that for a little while? Or?
Yeah, for about an hour.
Okay. So we have plenty of time to do it.
Yes. Let's see. No, we are having trouble. No, it's because I don't have it sealed well enough. Let me go get another one. One of my spray pumps didn't work. All right. I think I got glitter on the seal, on the outer seal. So, let's see if I keep it. Nope, doesn't take much at all.
And you prefer to spray over just a little?
I do. Maybe it's just because I like the spray. Maybe. I feel like it goes where I want it to. There we go. That one's behaving. Tapped it out, yeah. Mm-hmm, that pretty hologram gold.
Gonna try that. Yeah. Would you like some of these? Would you like that color?
I don't, that one decided it didn't want to work. But I have just the glitter itself if you prefer to sprinkle. glitter everywhere.
I love glitter, but
I
I
do
had a
too.
teacher that hated it.
Oh,
Hated it to be anywhere.
I'm like, when I come home and I'm all sparkly, it just gives me happy
Oh,
vibes.
that's me too. She goes, oh, it's gonna fall over you.
It's like, yes, it is. It's going to go everywhere. I get excited when I go and find glitter in random places in the house, and I'm like, oh, glitter. So what do you guys think?
We're having fun.
All right, so that pretty much concludes our workshop. You guys keep playing. Do you have any questions on cake pops? I know we had a little bit of issue with pushing the cake pop batter down through. You can fix that by your first round of chocolate, put it into the freezer, let it harden up, and then put your cake pop batter in. That'll keep it from moving. But sometimes it wants to let loose of the mold.
Oh, yeah.
So still have to be a little gentle.
So just add more and
Mm-hmm. Yep. Add more chocolate, and then make sure your chocolate is thick enough not to break as you're putting in your cake pop batter. And these store really well for a fairly long period of time, as long as it's completely encased in the chocolate.
You wrap them in the plastic then?
You don't have to, but you can. Yes, you can wrap them and put them in pretty plastics, put ribbons and bows on it. If you are, anybody here planning on making them and leaving them for any period of time? Like, are they going to sit at room temperature or, no, okay. Gonna eat them all right. I would say if you are thinking about making them in production and you want them to last, we carry natural preservatives that are like a citric acid, and a few drops of that in your cake pop batter will prevent it from going moldy,
Oh,
which, you know, you never know what's happening inside those chocolate encased treats. So
can you use that like in cookies too, or is it just for like cake pops?
no, you can use it in almost anything.
okay.
It's the a standard preservative used in commercial baking,
Okay.
and we sell them in little bottles. So,
Great.
any other questions? Sprinkles, sprinkles and sparkles.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're fun too. Once you master it, you'll be like popping out molds all the time.
So we've decided what we did wrong, so we know.
Yeah, now you know how to fix it. That's the great thing about workshops. You're gonna make them again? Good. All right, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm just going to give my little outro for the people who might be watching on Facebook or YouTube Live. My name is Natalie Madison, owner of Artisan Cakes. Thank you for joining me for the workshop. And our goal is to give you the tools and the knowledge to build your confidence for baking. Cool beans. Thanks, guys.